Plaintiff Felisa McLurkin says the defendant is her daughter, who she claims is so overwhelmed by caring for her terminally ill father that it led to her having anger management problems. Felisa is suing her daughter because she says she kicked and beat on Felisa's car, causing damages. Defendant Savitra McLurkin admits that she's overwhelmed, but she says there's no place she'd rather be than caring for her father. Savitra insists her mother has been no angel and has verbally abused her for years. Savitra admits to damaging her mother's vehicle, but she says she was provoked after Felisa insulted her father.
Tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, due to the fact that my daughter has been having some anger management problems, due to the fact that she's on overload, she has a young child to care for, and she is also providing home health care for her dad, who's terminally ill, as that is both of our occupations doing home health care. I feel that it's causing her to be stressed out and just an emotional wreck.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Is she getting any help from anyone?
Well, I help as much as I can with her daughter, and I have taken care of her dad also.
Has she had any type of anger issues prior to this?
Yes, she has.
As a young lady, as a child growing up?
Yes, sir.
What do you attribute that to?
According to my daughter, she feels that she had a bad childhood because I was a single parent mom.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I didn't have a good childhood.
And she feels that she had a bad childhood, and she's still telling me that, Your Honor, to this day.
All right, young lady, what do you want to tell me?
Your Honor, me and my mother have had a rocky relationship. I really don't feel that she cares about me. I'm her only child, and whenever we have a dispute, she verbally abuses me.
How long has she done that? Since what age?
Pretty much my whole life.
That's not true.
You've never been verbally abusive?
No, sir.
Never?
Never.
I don't believe that.
Your Honor, if you knew what I have been through.
You've cursed at this girl at some point.
Yes, I've cursed, but I don't. If you knew what I had been through, Your Honor, with her.
Say you were abusive because of what you've been through.
With her.
And I cursed at my kids, and
right.
I know it's because they made me mad.
Right.
Think she has anger problems?
I know she does. She didn't have the best childhood neither. And you know, people get together and break up and get back together again. And I think after my father broke up that last time and they didn't get back up together again, and she was stuck with me, that kind of made her have anger problems. Now, Judge Mathis, I'm not going to lie in your courtroom. I can admit that I have had animosity with my mother, and I've prayed about it, Your Honor, and I'm an adult, and I try to have a good relationship with my mom, and I try to go forward, but my mother is kind of like in denial. She acts like she's been like this good mom. My mother really wasn't there. Me and my father already had a good relationship. We became more closer now that he needs my care. She's right. I am overwhelmed. But there's no place that I would rather be other than be there with my dad.
Let me ask you, have the two of you tried counseling, or either of you?
Your Honor, I have paid for counseling for her out of my pocket. We went about 4 times.
Okay.
There were certain things the therapist told her to do because the therapist felt, Your Honor, there was no sense in me continuing to pay for those sessions if Savitra wasn't doing what she had advised her to do.
No, Your Honor. When I went to the psychiatrist.
Therapist?
To the therapist.
Now, did you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor?
I believe it was a psychologist.
Okay. Psychiatrists, they, for the most part, evaluate whether there is some type of chemical imbalance or something that requires a prescription.
Right,
that's the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Yeah. Psychologists cannot write prescriptions.
Right.
And psychiatrists can. Go ahead.
Psychologist told me that I'm a very highly sensitive person, as you can see, and that considering all that I've been through in my life and in my childhood, that it's a blessing that I'm saying I'm not on any medication. I'm making it day in and day out with no help.
Did you fail to follow the directions of the psychologist?
I don't think so. She told me to stop taking things so literally. The psychologist gave me a book, Your Honor, that was pretty much about myself.
You read the book?
Yes, and I still have the book. I have my own copy of the book. Ended up purchasing my own copy.
Why did you stop going?
Because she stopped paying for it. You know?
All right. Let's get to the car damages you're suing her about.
Okay, the car damages on March the 18th at 2:00 in the afternoon. I went by my daughter's house to pick up my granddaughter. I kept my granddaughter from 2 to 5:30 that evening because I had to be back on my job at 6. After I got off, I went back over to my daughter's house. Well, when I went back over there, she told me to keep my granddaughter for a couple of hours, Your Honor. So 10:30 rolls around. No Savitra, no phone call or anything. 11:30 rolls around. So at 12:30, I decided to let my boyfriend know that I was going to leave the apartment and that I was leaving the baby in the apartment because both of them were asleep at this point, Your Honor. So I rode around to my daughter's house, who lived less than a mile from me. She's sitting in a car in her driveway with her best friend. My daughter came across the street to where I was parked at.
Excuse me.
She's going through telling me that her dad is sick and that he had to go back to the hospital. And I say to her, Your Honor, Savitra, your first and utmost responsibility is your child. And just because I wasn't as sympathetic or whatever that she felt I should be, she went off. And all I wanted was her to pick up her child.
Describe to me how she went off.
She started screaming and hollering, kicking, and beating on my car physically.
And that's the car damage you're suing about?
Right.
All right, let me see some evidence. Young lady?
First of all, Your Honor, I want to let you know again, I'm not going to lie in your courtroom.
Okay.
I just pulled up. I had to leave the hospital, Your Honor, to come home to get some x-rays to take back up there to the hospital. So to make a long story short, it's a coinky dink. She pulls up as I'm getting out the car, walking up to my door. She gets out her car calling me all kind of. Now, mind you, when she came and got my daughter,
Your Honor.
When she came and got my daughter, sir, my right hand is sweet Jesus. I didn't ask her to get my baby. She took it upon herself to come over there. Not that I don't appreciate it, but I didn't ask her. It was a crazy night. I took my father to emergency. He's rushed to emergency when I go up there. A good childhood friend of mine is being pronounced there. So yes, I was emotional. By this point, I'm breaking down crying. And I'm telling her, I'm like, Mom, look, Dad's up there. I'm telling her about the guy friend that's up there dead. And she's basically telling me that she don't get me. And I better come get my baby and this, that, and the other. So, Your Honor, I'm not gonna lie, I'm only human. I did get loud. I did come up out my jacket and I was hollering and I was asking her why she was doing this to me. Because at that time, all I needed her to do was to be a mom and say, baby, everything gonna be okay. You know, now she's walking back to her car and I'm following her to the car, begging her, Your Honor, begging her not to leave.
Right.
When I get to the car, I'm like, Mama, you really gonna do me like this? You know what I'm saying? My mama started rolling up the window on me and putting her car in driver reverse. You know what I'm saying? I was so disoriented, I really don't know if she was just really trying to get out the way or if she was trying to run me over. But what I do know...
You're not funny. Go ahead.
What I do know, Your Honor, is that she told me that she didn't give a about how I felt and what I was going through, and she didn't know why I kept taking my dad to the hospital because he was going to die anyway. And that's when I kicked her car. Yes, I did.
She's not telling the truth.
And that's the honest to God truth.
A reasonable person, even a person with no anger issues, might feel provoked to the extent that they will react as she did, even with, if I base it on just what you said. Mm-hmm. She speaks with such specificity. You know, folks who are lying don't really speak. in that way. So I'm a little inclined to believe her. However, the fact is she admits to damaging the car.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I also, before you come to your verdict, I want to show you pictures of the whole car. She's not driving a brand new car. The car that she's driving has been in previous accidents before this one. And I just, before you reach your verdict, I really would love for you to check this out.
Okay.
And you'll notice on my estimate that they only did what the police department told them to, Your Honor.
But
the car raggedy. The car is raggedy.
Fixed.
It was raggedy before I kicked it. It's gonna be raggedy
Well,
after
what
today.
is you driving though?
And if she gets the money, I just want to let you know she's not going to get it fixed. She's going to go to Howell and buy her a Coach bag. That's what she's going to do.
I was clear when the police department sent me for the estimate. I told them the left quarter panel, and that's all he estimated.
You all need some joint counseling. You all need to go to the counselor together to try and resolve your issues, because even what I'm seeing today, it indicates that both of you have anger issues toward each other that are somewhat deep-seated. Even your response, what do you have?
If you're going to talk about my raggedy car, you should at least have something to drive.
I have 2 vehicles. Your Honor.
Because it should be one.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
One of the main problems with her is, this is the main problem. My father did his will. He left everything to me. She's sick because it could have been hers. And she stay in an apartment that got 1 couch. The bed she's sleeping on belongs to my daddy.
Last comment.
If I was so jealous of her, would I have went around there and got this child's baby from her so that she could take care of her dad?
You did it so you could talk about it. You did it so you could talk about it. You did it so you could talk about it.
I do believe you're concerned with your grandchild, and I do believe you provided some
but her dad, Your Honor, that's not my responsibility. I'm sorry, but it's not my responsibility.
What I'm going to do is grant you a judgment. First of all, would you ladies like to try and reconcile your relationship?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to reconcile with
Yeah, that's my mom. I love her.
All right, well, show us a sign. And that is, there you go. There you go. Good. That's what I like to see. And we're going to have the show pay for your counseling, and you must go together, unless the counselor says come one at a time. Okay. All right? She's shown me a picture that does amount to about $245 in my estimate. What you showed me amounts to a lot more than $245.
That's not what I did.
Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
Thank you. I'm planning on following up, going to the counseling as Judge Mathis has recommended.
And I as well. I hope that the counseling really helps you, because you got some serious issues. I love you still, though. Because she mine. You only get one mom.